Has the bull market resumed? Ethereum over 10,000 in 2021? Or is this a dead cat bounce? And look out below, right? We hit 4,000 in Ethereum and then it dropped by like 60%. That's usually the signal of the start of a bear market. But here we are again, over 3,000. People are buying JPEG NFTs of rocks for hundreds of thousands of dollars. The mania seems to be back. What do you think? What's going on? I'm going to give you my thoughts. But before I get to my prediction on where the market's going, I want to stress something that is very, very important. When it comes to investing, it doesn't fucking matter. Don't try to predict where the market is going, especially in the short term. In the long term, yeah, I think Ethereum is a lot more valuable 5 years from now, as well as maybe some other things. As far as what's going on in the next 6 months, I'll give you my guesses. Most of you are not qualified to even guess, but despite my qualifications for guessing, I don't invest based on it. I didn't know that at 4,000 we were about to drop by 60%. I mean, I was warning people that it looked a little juicy up there. And I did suggest beginners don't get in. And then when we did crash and we were at 1,700, I think that was my last video, I said, you know what, beginners can nibble here. And now I'm telling, if you're a beginner, don't even, now is not a good time to start. Okay? Now, but let's get back to the main point, which you're investing, your portfolio should always be positioned for both. If Ethereum shoots to $10,000 and this market goes on, and Bitcoin to 100,000, I will do great. I will be very happy because I have a lot of crypto, what I consider to be a lot. And I'll talk about that, I guess, in a second. What is a lot, right? But if it crashes and goes back to, Ethereum, I mean, if we have a real crash here, I'm sorry, NFTs will be down 99% on average, right? DeFi, 95. Ethereum, could hit 12, 1,300. If that happens, well, why am I okay with that? Because I have enough cash. I have a lot of cash. And so it crashes. Now I've got a bunch of cash and I can buy things cheap. So remember, so what is a lot? What is a good percent, right? I think maybe, when we're this high, I mean, if you have at least 10% cash, you could have 15, 20% cash. Now, it also depends where you're at in your life. I was saying, oh, you should have 50% cash because I didn't own a house. And I hope I stressed that enough because I didn't own a house and I was like, eventually I'm going to buy a house. So I need a lot of cash. Because I bought this piece of shit here, 3,000 square feet in LA, all cash. I don't want a loan from those fiat thieves. Where was I? So I wanted more cash. Now it's like, now that I own a house, I mean, what am I going to buy, right? So I don't know. So anyways, 10 to 20%, I'm only going to be buying investments. Now, if everything crashes, if you have 10% and everything crashes, your cash doesn't go down, everything else does. Now it's 20%. Now you got a lot of cash. If you have 20% cash, everything crashes. Now you got 30, 40%. You're a big swinging dick in a crash. Everything's cheap. You go buying things. So you love the crash. Yeah, the ETH you're holding for 5 years is down, but you were ready for that. And again, if everything shoots up, my cash position goes down. Now I could sell more. And plus, Ethereum, if it's at 10,000, that's up 300% for now. If crypto is 10% of your portfolio and it goes up 3x, crypto's 30% of your portfolio. That is a volatile asset to have 30% of your portfolio. That is what I call irresponsibly long. And sometimes it's fun to be irresponsibly long when you have strong conviction and a long time frame. But you want to be positioned for both. Take a look at it. One thing is get all your numbers in a spreadsheet. Look at the percents of each and make sure it makes sense. And you can play out what if it goes up? What if it goes down? The other thing you can do is use your memory. A lot of people have what's called recency bias. oh, it's gone up a lot, so it's going to keep going up a lot. Or when it went down, so it's going to keep going down. That's how people think. You know what I do? I remember. I know it was a long time ago, 40 days ago, when Ethereum was, 50% lower. Long time ago. But I remember, I can teleport myself back. How did I feel? Did I wish I had sold more? How did I feel? I mean, you don't really want to go by feelings, but when I looked at my numbers, what did I think? And if I thought, geez, when it was at 3,000, I wish I sold more. Well, here we are, we're at 3,000. Put yourself back in that position, because we might be right back there. We can go right back there. Again, I'm not predicting it right now. I'll make some predictions, but right now I'm just saying it could. It doesn't matter what I predict. I claim to be many things in crypto. I may even call myself an expert, but I do not claim to be able to predict. Lately, I've had such good timing that one may call me a predictor, but as soon as you think you can predict, it's going to be the opposite. And for most of you children out there with very few scars on your back, if you think you know where the market's going, most likely, odds are it's going to go the opposite. If you really are confident and you're like, oh, I know it's going higher, then most likely it's going lower. If that, you can use that as an indicator, yourself as a contrarian indicator. So I think I made my point that if I make a prediction on where it's going, don't invest on that. Be ready for anything, okay? Including being ready for me being wrong. It's happened before. Okay. Now another thing too, when it comes to buying or selling, someone asked me, how did you time it and sell at the top? I made a video. I really enjoyed this video because one of these stupid trader guys, what's his name? Bitcoiner guy. I made a video and this guy's like, oh, we're just getting started on the rally when Bitcoin was literally at 60,000. And he's tweeting, he's got like 100,000 followers. We're just getting started. Come on, beginners, jump in. I was like, dude, that's fucking irresponsible. And and I was like, this is where you don't want to be getting in. And if you don't have much cash, this is when you want to be selling. Now, I didn't say it because I was predicting that it's going to go down. That's how you invest. It's just like, that's how it works, period. It turned out that my timing was perfect and I was right. And people are like, how did you know? I didn't know, right? It's just like when it was at 1,700 and I said, okay, now you can sort of get in. Well, how did I know? Well, it fell by 60% in like 2 months. I didn't know anything. That's usually a good time to get in, especially if you have long-term conviction. I'm not just predicting bounces. Like, I love Ethereum for 5 years. So when it falls by 60%, okay, well, that's not the worst time to buy. When in May, when it had literally doubled in 30 days, that was not a good time to get in just because of the math, right? So I don't, I'm not. So anyways, and the other thing too is, this is not get all in and get all out type of thing. The other thing I do is I have a long-term view. For all of 2019, when Ethereum was at $1 and $200, yet the growth was phenomenal. DeFi, it was growing exponentially, and these things were dirt cheap. I was screaming, get in. Now again, I wasn't saying get all in, but every month buy, every month buy, every month buy. Well, how did I buy at the absolute low? Why did I buy some REN at 3 cents? Or I should say, recommend to buy REN at 3 cents. Why did I recommend, what other brilliant calls did I have? I don't know. But anyways, well, when you're buying every month and everything's at the lows, on one of those months, you're going to catch the low, right? Same thing. So now it's not the lows. We're not at the lows. Look at the chart. You can tell we're not at the lows. Like, you don't have to be a genius to know the market's not low. It's been going up since 2019. It's been going up mostly straight up for 2.5 years. That's pretty long for a crypto bull market. We're not at the lows. Okay, I'm not a genius to figure that out. So, now the other thing is, this ain't I didn't just get into this market, right? I bought some Bitcoin at $300, right? Whatever, in 2015. So, I got enough crypto. So, now, if you don't have any, I got a friend who, he never listened to me to get in. Never listened. He finally got in when Ethereum's at 4,000 and didn't do dollar cost averaging. He just pushed all the chips in right at the high. Okay. But meanwhile, it's not a huge percent of his portfolio. You know, in hindsight, he would have preferred to listen to me and only, dollar cost average. But, I was talking to him and it's like, I wouldn't advise him to sell it all now because it's not a huge percent of his portfolio. He got in late. You have something in. Now, I have a bigger percent. Or when I was buying my house, like I need more cash and want to have more cash. So you sell a little every month. So how did I know to sell when, at the peak a few months ago in May? I didn't know, but I was selling every month. So I sold some at the high. Okay, fine, right? But, the next month it was lower. Now, I also knew I stopped selling. I don't know if I took a whole month off or whatever it was because it wasn't low for that long. But when Ethereum was below 2,000, I'm not selling, right? Take a break. So it's easier to buy a little catch the absolute low or sell at the absolute high when you're selling a little every month at extreme inflection points. It's not that hard. So I had a question there on Twitter. I posted on Twitter, hey, I'm making a video, post questions. A lot of you posted questions, and I am answering those. I'm also making a bunch of videos next few days. It's been a while because moving into this house is a pain in the neck. I'm not even giving a tour either because this is my old couch. I don't have a lot of furniture yet. Someday I'll do the tour for those of you who care. For those of you who don't care, listen, people ask me for it. And let me show off for a minute, okay? Leave me alone. Okay, so, where were we? All right, so should we get to my prediction? Well, okay, first of all, this is the other thing. Where are we? This classic chart. You have the long, boring low. This was 2019. It was just low. It was going up. And remember, if it goes from 1 to 2, it doesn't look much now, but at the time, it was a lot. There was a jump. I remember when Bitcoin went from like 4,000 to like 12,000 in like 2 months in 2019. And that's when I made a video, Ring the Bell. The bear market is definitely over. That's how and then, it came back down and it's not all straight up. It's not like the whole year, everything tick, tick, tick. It's volatile. But anyways, this was 2019. Then we had a little break. And then we started in the craziness here, late 2020. And now the question is, so this goes, just to read you, take off. I like to say here, I call it the boring low. It's just low and it's flat. And again, when you're there, it isn't, in crypto, it's still pretty volatile, but whatever. The boring low, take off, first sell off, bear trap. That was 2019. We had I think Bitcoin hit 14,000 and then went all the way back to 6 or something. Media attention, enthusiasm, greed, delusion, new paradigm at the peak, and then denial, and then it falls, and that's bull trap. It's like, oh, it's just a drop, we're going back up, and then return to normal, everything's fine, and then fear, capitulation, despair, and then you start over. And things, in general, sort of follow this. But, as much as I even don't, and this is like the only type of chart I follow. It's a 3-year sort of thing. It's not you idiots looking at the daily movements. You might as well get into the horoscope and psychic business. I mean, it's silliness, okay? But over years, like I said, I knew in 2019 it was low. I know now it's high. But I don't know what's going to happen in the next 6 months. So anyways, but here's the question now. Like I started the video with, are we here and we're about to go to, the ETH 10,000 would be new paradigm, ETH 2.0 launches, the world's changing? Or did we already hit this in May? We came down. See, notice how far this is. Well, now, I would draw this farther because that first drop is usually 60%. So going up, there's a lot of drops, usually 40%, sometimes 50%. The argument that we're actually in the bear is that you don't usually, in the middle of this, you usually don't have a 60% drop. So if you're a chart, you follow this stupid thing, we're on this side of it already, okay? But charts schmarts, as soon as you got a pattern, this thing's become very popular. As soon as something is, well known, some pattern is really discovered, that's when the pattern ends. So whatever. And there's no fucking patterns. It's all random fractals, Anyways. So, which side of that peak are we on? And let me say one other thing. So many people, and this was in May when I was like, never mind May, before May, March and April, I said, if you want to sell when it's high, do you want to sell after the peak or before the peak? I was saying, you want to sell before the peak for a couple reasons. One is, well, if you want to get into things that are good in the crash, they're cheaper before the crash, right? But the other point is, you don't know when you're here. And the perfect example of that is we're having this conversation. If the peak was in May, here we are, just about September, and we still don't know if May was the peak. So you think you're going to know in May that it's the peak? You don't know. And if it wasn't the peak, you're going to know next time when you're there. You don't know until months later. So you can't wait. So I keep beating on this drum. Don't pay attention to stupid predictions, even when I make the prediction. But here's my thought. I am extremely concerned. Let me just first say in general, the United States government, not the people, many wonderful, brilliant people in America, a lot of morons too, many of you watching me now, just kidding. A lot of amazing corporations. We've done okay with COVID because the corporations created a vaccine. I mean, if the government did anything right, it was get out of the fucking way and they let corporations make the vaccine and didn't try to regulate them on that. But anyways, the government is completely incompetent, not able to do anything, right? I'm not going to get into, obviously, Afghanistan. I mean, what a fucking disaster. And the problem is, they are morons. Just fucking stupid. And just incompetent. Okay? Every time you hear in the news, I'm going to make a video all about, I believe the war has begun. I don't know if you guys have been following the infrastructure bill. Remember Mnuchin tried to sneak in a law that that the Treasury wants to destroy crypto. Now, in their mind, they think they're going to take it over and be able to steal from everybody. That's what they want to do. But you can't. That's not going to work. And what they're going to do is destroy crypto in America. They won't win. There is a war has begun, and I'm going to make a separate video of it, okay? But I'm very concerned. And although I believe with strong conviction that crypto networks will win the war, wars are expensive, can be painful, can take a while, and the war has begun, right? If you go back to the 1940s and before the war, in 1930, you said, we're going to win the war and America's going to come out on top. Well, it doesn't mean, just because we're going to win, it doesn't mean that the years that we're fighting it are great, right? It was painful time, very difficult for the economy. I don't know exactly what the stock market did per se, But the economy, instead of making, I remember my grandfather telling me you couldn't buy a tire because all the rubber had to go to the military. Like basic things that were, whatever. War is difficult, and I believe that a war has begun. And I'll do another video. So anyways, that is very bearish. And when I don't think people have realized it. People are like, well, how come the prices are going up if a war began? Well, if you think that the news, when prices go up, the news people go, okay, what can we find a reason to explain why it went up? And they pretend that they know why. It doesn't work like that. So anyways, I'm very concerned about that. Also, prices are high. So I'm concerned about that. And what we're seeing in NFTs, I'm also going to make a video. I can't wait. I think I'm going to get, I don't do this channel for money and I don't work on it and I don't promote it. So I've got followers, but for the quality of content you're getting, I don't have as many followers. There's plenty of morons out there with 100,000 followers. You know why I don't? For two reasons. I don't go, but I'm going to make this video on NFTs and I think I'm going to get views for two reasons. One is the title. It's going to be NFTs. Not all, but mostly stupid. And then I'm going to have a picture of myself going like this. You're going to do this little surprise and a mouth. That's it. It's so weird. Like that, I was even reading an article. That's like a thing, like a lot of woke people or something like the mouth open. There's a whole thing about it, like the mouth open surprise. Like people click. They love that. So I'm going to do that and make fun of NFTs. Get a shitload of clicks and followers. Don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe. Tell all your friends and retweet. But anyways, NFTs. Now, it's another video. NFTs are for real, long term. It's a whole thing. They're wonderful. it's not like I don't like NFTs. But to pay $100,000 for a JPEG of a rock, I think it's an indication that things are a little high. Things are a little frothy. And I'll talk about that. But that's another indicator to me. And so this whole war thing, I don't know that matters until the government actually starts implementing rules, right? And they're not doing that right now. So this could keep running. But I think 22 is going to be tough. I mean, I believe the government is gearing up to pick your pocket, right? I'm just very concerned starting with 2022. I've thought the peak anyways, originally before May happened. I thought it would be end of this year or around now. Like I thought around now, time-wise, and then May happened. And, listen, we can still sort of blow off higher. But if I had to make a bet, I feel I would, if I had, but I don't make this bet, so I don't want to say it, but honestly, I would be more bearish than bullish right here. I would take a good look at how much cash you have, and this thing could look out below. The other thing is the central bank. They're trying not to print. They're pretending they're going to taper, and they may stop printing as much money, right? And if that happens, the central bank prints money, not because they have a plan to print money. They don't print money because everything crashes and they're forced to rescue it so they can keep their jobs and keep the Ponzi scheme going. So, but they need to pretend that they have discipline and all this. So like, oh, we're not going to keep printing. Oh, we're going to return to normal and all this. They keep saying that. But that means we're in a period here of where they're not juicing everything. So for all those reasons, I am concerned to be very prepared that right now at ETH 3,200, I mean, it could go higher and everything, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if we poop out before 4 and just fucking plummet. Okay? But I have a shitload of ETH, and if that prediction is wrong, I am not betting on it, and nobody make fun of me. Because if ETH goes to 10,000, I'll be making more than if it crashes and I deploy cash. Okay? And, someone asked, what'll happen in a bear market? Well, what always happens, right? I mean, ETH, Bitcoin down 80%. Now, if with 4,000 at the high, I don't think 80,000. I mean, that 4,000 is not that high traditionally, and I don't see ETH going. What is 80% from 4,000? I mean, I don't think it can go that low. And we've got ETH 2.0 coming. That's the other. Now, on the other side of that argument on why we go higher is ETH carries this fucking thing. I mean, the NFTs, I don't know how that can sort of keep going, but I guess, it's crazy. And bull markets always surprise on the other hand, let me argue the other side of the argument, which is it seems crazy with the NFTs, but usually the bull market, the reason May didn't seem like a top is it was high, it was expensive, but it didn't go to the point that you're like, oh my God, up more? It's like, oh my God, a rock sold for 100,000, picture of a rock. And then it's like, oh my God, now a picture of a rock sold for $1 million. Like it just goes again and again. And you're like, what the fuck? It really didn't get like that. And maybe we need to get there. And ETH 2.0 launching. Somebody asked me, are you more convinced that it's going to launch? I never had doubts. The Ethereum developer team is unbelievable. And I say team, it's not a core. The team of developers, this decentralized organization, they're incredible. They are amazing. They are so good at what they do. And ETH 2.0 is a year. Well, when I turned my conviction from Bitcoin to Ethereum, it was based on Ethereum having a better monetary policy and having a better security model. And that was because of ETH 2.0, which will have Ethereum having lower issuance rate than Bitcoin and a better security model. And I never doubted that will be implemented. There were some risks to timing, although the timing, Ethereum gets some shit for delays because you're living in 2015, 16, even maybe 17. But the last couple of years, oh my goodness, like clockwork. These upgrades come. Things have been early lately. So I don't have any doubts. Yeah, it could get some delays. They could run into some problems but it looks like early 2022, ETH 2.0 launches, which cements, for other people who don't follow this, they may be like, well, I don't know if Ethereum will upgrade it. Okay, you can have those doubts if you don't follow it. For me, I have no doubts. So it's just a timing thing. But for all those people who doubt it, which is a lot of people, or don't even understand it, they're not going to read about it until it actually launches. It's a huge deal. And so the other thing is, if we're in a bear market, all that does is it then rallies for 3 weeks during the launch and it goes back to bear market. So that's not necessarily enough. But it is a pretty big deal, and it can keep things going. So it's possible that NFT mania just gets everybody in a frothy excitement. DeFi is for real and growing like crazy. Also, when I talk about the war, stablecoins, this is such a huge, awesome thing. What is going on with stablecoins is a way to take your dollars and actually have them held safely and earn yield. But the government wants to attack that as well. Now, and again, I'll talk about that later. They could ruin that, and they could ruin that at any minute. And if they do, that is a huge negative. But maybe they don't do that until late 2022, right? Or maybe, who knows? So again, I was going to make a prediction. I am very prepared mentally for everything to fucking crash tomorrow, okay? But I am also wouldn't be surprised if we go higher. I guess I didn't give you a prediction. I was going to predict that we're going down, but I'm so not surprised. It's stupid right now, but things can get real stupid. So we might not be done. We'll see. I mean, if it hits 4,000, double tops are very rare in these crypto markets. And we're at ETH at 32 and Bitcoin, if they get to, where they were and sort of cross that last high, I wouldn't be surprised if we just see another fucking double right away. Then we get the crash. Who knows? But it's fun to talk about it, isn't it? And then finally, someone asked me, how do you cash out? I mean, first of all, with all of these, and I always forget to remind, your tax situation is a very important factor in all of this, right? If you live somewhere and you got no taxes, then, you can afford to sort of go in and out. If you're paying 40% in taxes or some crazy number, well, 40 is pretty rare. I don't know, but whatever. If you're paying 30% taxes, then when you sell, if the market falls by 30%, you're just at break even. I mean, you got to think twice about selling, right? Much more than the person who can just sell and then it's down 10% a couple months later, jump back in, right? That's a big deal. It's a big number. So your tax situation matters. And cash out, there's two worlds. And again, I'm going to talk about this regarding the war because there's going to be two sides in the war. There is the blockchain crypto world and there's the fiat world. And by blockchain, I mean, if you own Ethereum or you own any crypto and you're leaving it in Coinbase, that's not your money. Coinbase is fully regulated, and in the event of a war, the government will come and they can steal your money. Or it can be this serendipity. They can make it. Okay, again, I'll go into that. I want to make sure I touch on that in my war talk. Note to self here. Regarding, where are you cashing out? Are you cashing?
I'm having trouble hearing you.
Okay. Thank you, Siri. Siri's having trouble hearing me. Are you cashing out to the fiat world or are you cashing out in the blockchain world? What world are you in? And do you even have money? In other words, if you own a bunch of crypto, but it's all in Coinbase, you're not in crypto, right? You're still in the fiat world. And listen, it might be fine. And, I think, 200 years ago, even 100 years ago, people would say, you should always have a little gold hidden in your closet just in case, right? And, I know someone who, they're from Europe. I don't want to get into details with their situation, but they were in a place and his grandfather used to always tell him, always save a little bit of gold. And he was like, why would he want gold? They used their paper money and everything was functioning. And then all of a sudden it turned into inflation and war and all that crap and all the money went to zero. And he said, I know why you need a little gold. Well, now that's crypto, but crypto in your own wallet. They can steal from Coinbase, okay? And Coinbase can steal from you, right? And I'm not saying they're going to now, and I'm not worried about Coinbase today. But point is, so where are you cashing out to? If you're in crypto world and you sell, you go to a stable coin. And I'm also going to do a video on Ride, my favorite stable coin. I'll talk about the other ones in that. And I'm also going to do a video on a bunch of tokens that mostly ones I don't recommend anymore, which will include Tether. People want me to talk about BitCloud. I'm going to talk about all those. Tether is another stable coin. I'll talk in that video. But anyways, you can sell to a stable coin and then lock it up and earn interest. That's a form of cashing out in a sense, right? You're moving to a stable coin, and then if everything crashes, you've got that money and then you could go back in the crypto world. Now, on the other hand, you could take it to Coinbase, sell for $1, send it to your Bank of America to earn 0% interest. But in the event of a war, these two worlds may cut. You may not be able to bridge the gap. And I think you want a little in both. And that's a whole other topic, but where are you cashing out to, right? You got to think about that. And are you even in the crypto world, or are you all fiat, pretending that you're crypto and Coinbase, whatever. So think about where you're cashing out to. And so there's two types of cash. There's blockchain crypto cash, stable coins earning interest, and there's fiat, Bank of America, JP Morgan cash, where they pay you nothing. So, but both have you can't pay your mortgage with the crypto cash, right? You can't go buy an ice cream with your crypto cash. So make those decisions. pay attention to what's your tax situation. And that's that. I think that's everything for this video. How'd we do? 34 minutes, not bad. I think that was everything. All right. Hey, listen. Good to be back. I got to make a bunch more videos. Share, tweet, because when I don't make videos for a while, YouTube forgets who I am, and then they don't send this thing around. I'm not working on this stuff. I don't work on these videos, so I don't have the giant following that I should. But I'd like to have a lot of followers. So for those of you who love, and I know, and thank you, a lot of people comment and telling me they love these videos. I do appreciate it. I appreciate when you tell me thank you and all that. But, share it a little. Share it around so I can get the ball rolling again, especially because I'm about to do a bunch of videos. It'd be good to get the word out because I'm back. Okay? Thanks for listening.